Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a really cool idea. What if we could take all those little unexpected interruptions in life, the moments that totally throw us off track, and actually turn them into opportunities? Let's talk about reframing those little problems into something much, much better.
Seriously, think about it for a second. When was the last time something just didn't go your way? Maybe you missed your bus this morning or that email you were waiting for never showed up. We all have those moments, right? And man, they are frustrating. But what if there was a totally different way to look at them?
So to really get a grip on what we're talking about, we need to give it a name. And the source material for this explainer has the absolute perfect word for it, a glitch.
Okay, so here's the official definition. But I want you to pay close attention to one word here, minor. That is so key. Because when we hear glitch, we think of a tiny bug in a video game, not some life-shattering catastrophe. And that's exactly what we're talking about. The small, everyday things that go sideways. You know that famous saying, right? Well, this is basically where glitches live. You've got your schedule, your to-do list, your big goals all mapped out. But it's in those gaps, in the space between the bullet points, that life just happens. For better or for worse, that's the spontaneous stuff we're digging into.
All right, so we know what they are. The million-dollar question is, how do we actually deal with these glitches without letting them completely wreck our mood? Well, it all comes down to a really powerful shift in your mindset, learning to see them not as a roadblock, but as something else entirely. Okay, let's be honest. Most of us live our lives in that left column. A tiny thing goes wrong and boom, frustration kicks in, and suddenly it feels like the whole day is a write-off. But the glitch mindset, well, that invites us over to the right column. It's about seeing that same exact event as spontaneous and turning a ruined day into what the source calls a bonus bounce.
I absolutely love this phrase, a bonus bounce. It doesn't sound negative at all, does it? It sounds like something extra, an unexpected little gift of energy, or a new perspective. It's not taking something away from your day, it's adding something to it. That one little shift in language reframes the whole experience.
So a glitch doesn't actually have to detract from your day. Even if you mess up, even if you don't handle it perfectly in the moment, the event itself just adds a unique little flavor to your day. It gives it texture, makes it more memorable. It accentuates the day, it doesn't ruin it.
But, and this is a really, really important but, there's a catch. You can't just float through life embracing chaos if your whole life is already chaos. See, to handle the glitches, you first need a foundation. You need a direction. You need intent. Let me ask you this, and it's a huge question. If you don't actively make choices about how you want to live your life, what do you think happens? Because if you're not in the driver's seat, well, something else is.
And there it is. That's the answer. If you don't choose, life chooses for you. You stop being the person walking a path you laid out, and you just become a pinball, bouncing randomly from one external event to the next.
So how do we build this intent? It sounds kind of big and abstract, right? But the source actually breaks it down into 3 really clear steps. First, you have to consciously choose your path. Figure out what actually matters to you. Then you build a baseline, those core habits that keep you centered on that path. And finally, you use that solid foundation to intentionally fill your days with meaning.
Okay, so this is where it all clicks. This is how these two big ideas, living with intent and embracing glitches, finally come together. And here's the secret. They're not fighting each other. They're actually two parts of the same beautiful rhythm.
Think about it like this. Your intentional life, your goals, your values, your routines, that's the steady beat of a song. It's the baseline. It's that consistent rhythm you've created for yourself that keeps everything grounded.
And the glitches? They're the fun parts. They're the little riffs, the cool improvisations that bounce off that main rhythm. They aren't a break in the song, they're just a bounce off the baseline. And because you have that strong baseline to come back to, these little bounces aren't scary. They're actually what makes the song interesting.
And all of this brings us to one last really powerful thought. A glitch doesn't have to be some big, dramatic, coffee-spilling event. Sometimes, the most important bounce of all is just a tiny little pause.
Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. A glitch can be as simple as pausing for a moment. Just looking up from your screen, taking a deep breath, noticing something you hadn't planned to notice. That tiny little deviation can shift your perspective and change the entire rhythm of your day.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that the unexpected doesn't have to be the enemy of your plans. In fact, they kind of need each other. One gives meaning to the other. So I'll leave you with a challenge. The next time something doesn't go according to plan today, and it will, are you going to see it as a problem? Or are you going to see it as a bonus bounce?